What is going on, guys? It's Greg from East Coast Eyes, and yesterday I brought you my selections for top 5 of offensive heads released in 2014. You guys gave a lot of great feedback. I really appreciate that. It seemed like a lot of you guys liked the video, and I'm happy to hear that. So today we have the top 5 defensive heads of 2014. And I know what you're thinking, Greg, they didn't release 5 defensive heads in 2014. So we're just gonna kinda work with that and break it down. So it seems like defensive guys don't get that much love. You know, they kind of have defensive heads that release and they're expected to be kept around for 2 or 3 years, and then they get new ones, and usually they're just updates. Whereas offensive guys get a couple new heads every single year to check out. So there's a lot of different types of D players. You got close D, long stick midi, short stick midi, goalies of course. So the heads kind of fall into a range of different categories and are needed for different purposes. But so since there weren't 5 defensive heads released in 2014, we have a couple here that have been released previously, which are my top picks for legacy heads that will probably always be popular. So first up is the STX Hammer, released late 2013. It's a great head, their first defensive, or one of their first defensive specific heads, designed specifically with your defenseman in mind. Very thick, very wide, can string up a high pocket easily, and super stiff and durable. And then we've got the Warrior Revo 3, an old classic, the Warrior Revolution, brought back with some more sidewall holes, a stiffer construction, a nice face shape, an expect face shape, and is also a great defensive head. And then we have the old classic. So this is the Brine Edge. This is updated to the X-Specs. This is the most recent version of the Edge. And looking through pictures of teams playing in 2014 in college, for a lot of the teams, all I saw in defense and LSM was the Brine Edge. This thing has been around for forever. It was the first offensive head from Brine, or the first offset head from Brine. And this is pretty much true to its original form. It looks almost just like it did about 10 years ago. So this is a great defensive head. Always will be and always has been. So those are 3 great choices that weren't released in 2014, but that's how I'd rank them: Hammer, Revo 3, and the old trusty Brine Edge at the top of that top 3. So now we've got the top 3 that were released in 2014. So the first one, number 3, is going to play double duty. We've got the STX Stallion U 500. With the introduction of the X-Spec face shape, a lot of heads now have that wider face shape, so they can be used for defense. And so this one I would say would be more geared toward a long stick midi or a short stick defensive midi, because it is a little bit more offensive minded, but still does have a wide face shape and is super stiff and durable. It's going to hold its shape. It can be strung with a high pocket really well for scooping ground balls and getting that pocket, or getting that ball in the pocket quickly. So this would be good for an LSM that likes to bring it down the field, or a D-midi that likes to bring it down the field. So kind of your crossover stick, where if you need to play some offense but are also very defensive minded, this one will work great. So this comes in at number 3. At number 2, we have the new Brine Triumph, a completely new head from Brine that sort of took some styling cues and design cues from the original Brine Edge. So you can see the offset there, and the sidewall pattern is very similar. So it has a very aggressive offset, which is great for long poles for picking up ground balls, and it has an improved sidewall design from the Edge with a couple more supports here. It is crazy stiff. I mean, I can barely move it. This thing is going to just throw really hard checks and not give a ton and not bend over when you're checking. Nice wide flat scoop, definitely a defensive specific head, and it has the Core-Tech technology on the inside just to make it a little stiffer, and it looks really cool. So this was a great new defensive head released in 2014 and comes in at number 2. And coming in at number 1 for 2014 in defensive heads is the new guy on the block, the Maverick Tank. I did a review on this. I've had Mike playing with it for a while. I've gotten reviews from other people, and everyone loves this head. On the offensive video, a lot of people wanted to know where the tank was. Here it is at number 1 on the defensive list. This is easily the stiffest defensive head. It has a ton of support, a really mean look, some mattes and glosses, great finishes, a very, very, very flat scoop for picking up ground balls, so very flat and wide. And what I really like about this head is they designed the bottom rail for a high pocket. So I really do feel that Defensemen LSMs should be playing with a mid to mid-high pocket, so when you scoop a ground ball, it falls right into the pocket and you have less chance of getting it checked out as you're scooping the ground ball. It also gives you that extra whip and hold that you're going to need at the end of that long stick, give you that leverage for big long clearing passes, and you can take it up the field. The Maverick Tank is exactly what it says. It is a tank and it performs really well and is my #1 for top defensive heads. But of course we can't forget the goalies. The last line of defense, crazy dudes standing in the cage and making the saves. There were 3 new goalie heads released in 2014 for you guys, so I'm going to rank those 3 in order of my top 3. So at number 3 for goalie heads, we have the Warrior Headline Goalie Head. New for 2014 and is used by all the NLL goalies. So this is Under Armour's first goalie head and they did a really great job. It has sort of an eclipse face shape but with an improved sidewall design. Not too many string holes, but this one comes in at a great value. It's definitely a steal, and you can see this one's strung very well by our buddies at Goalie Strings. So this is a great value head and a good all-around goalie head. You'll see a lot of the Under Armour sponsored college teams goalies rocking this year. And at number 2 comes the Warrior Nemesis 2. Now this is a Nemesis 1. I had a Nemesis 2 that I did a review on, but we had an MLO goalie that needed it to rock our mesh in. So the Nemesis, this one came out a while ago. The Nemesis 2 was an update with SYM rail technology, an improved face shape and sidewall design and more string holes. The Nemesis has its signature classic bowl-shaped face and a little bit of flair there that goalies really love. So this one comes in at number 2. And at number 1 is the Brine Eraser 2. Also an update. Brine took the old Eraser, which was not great, definitely improved the face shape to make it much easier to string and a much more appealing face shape, improved the sidewall design, added a ton of sidewall holes, and their Core-Tech technology to make it nice and stiff so it's not going to bend back. This is definitely more stiff than the original, more stiff than the Eclipse, and is an overall great goalie head. I had J-Rod from the MLL and the LXM Pro down to take some shots and test it, and he really loved it. Strung up easily with our East Coast mesh, and this is definitely a top goalie head pick and my #1 that was released in 2014. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you all like this video. Make sure to subscribe for more stream videos and tutorials. Comment down below what your top defensive heads would be, and have a great day.